Welcome to the definitive Super Mega Baseball 3 tier list experience. Many grueling hours poring over charts, tapping at controllers, experimenting with data manipulation techniques, all culminated within a short video series. Quickly, before we name the first team, I will give a rundown on what exactly the list documents. The rankings are intended to represent a 9-inning consecutive game meta, a season in other words. Pitcher fatigue and management is considered, as is the obligatory resting of one's starting catcher. Additionally, since SMB3 includes the DH in one of the two official conferences, I've balanced each team for comparison's sake by weighing DH and non-DH lineups evenly. Thus, each team has had 4 lineups weighed into their equation: DH with and without starting catcher, and without DH with and without starting catcher. They're weighed at percentages 40-10, 40-10 respectively. Enough of the stage setting, on with the show. In every tier list, there is a dead last finisher, and for Super Mega Baseball 3, the Sandcats are it. The SMB3 expansion team couldn't land themselves enough lineup help to get them anywhere further than last place. The lone bright spot on the disappointing roster is the bullpen. With several standout studs, they rank way up as the second best in the game. This isn't enough to carry them from the gutter, unfortunately, since their rotation ranks second worst and their position player plethora comes in dead last in both DH and non-DH categories. Insult to injury is they have the second worst solution to the DH slot in the league, so they'd be better off without it, and yet they find themselves in the Super Conference, which plays with the DH. The Sandcats can't catch a break. Bad luck and bad baseball lead to their bad placement of 20th, comfortably in F tier. Now that I've shattered all expectations from the Sandcats fanbase, time to ruthlessly move on to the last place runner-up, the Platypi. They were my last place finisher in the previous game and might have been again if the Sandcats hadn't rescued them from such a sad fate. Their main weakness is their awful bullpen, which not only comes in last but does so by a sizable margin. Their rotation is a point in their favor, as the 7th best isn't too shabby of a result, but the relievers drag their pitching overall down to 18th. Lineup-wise, they're just a tick below average in total production. They don't quite make up for what they lack in power in other areas to get them over the hump. So, the Platypi come in second to last, but they do have a significant separation between them and the F-tier dwelling kitties, so I think they've earned a bump into D tier. That's one small step for the fuzzy bird mammals. Nobody wants to see their team come up this early in the list. Luckily, in SMB, you can have fun playing as any team. Some teams just make it more challenging. The next most challenging team in SMB3 is the Beewolves. They have a lot in common with the Platypi. They both have some small ball style offensive play, and they both lean on their rotations to carry their awful bullpens. The Beewolves' pen ranks as a slot above the Platties, and their rotation is a slot below. The Beewolves would really prefer to have the DH available, since losing it forces them to choose between the pure offensive jolt that Ruby Green can bring and the power and glove at first offered by new addition Kobe Kingman. Tragically, their presence in the Mega League means they will play most regular season games facing this conundrum. 18th place is going to be the finishing spot for the Beewolves, which brings them down a couple notches from their previous performance of 5th to last. Next up is a team whose hope is to ride its rotation to success. And it is a very good rotation that the Crocodiles have, ranking 3rd overall. Mainly the problem is that it's not good enough to compensate for what they lack in other areas. Their pen is among the worst at 17th, and their offense is barren of stars, so while consistent, it's just consistently meh. But getting back to that rotation, if they're hoping to ride it to such an extreme extent, one would hope it was best in the league. It starts out promising to be great with the ace of the entire league, Jovita Pulo, leading them off. Then you get into a couple other excellent performers. Everything looks good here. Then you get into their new addition to 3, Bae Paul. She's 5th worst among all starters in the entire game. How are you going to ride your rotation when every 4th game you're trotting out batting practice pitching, backed up by the 4th worst bullpen in the league? Finding the win column without touching one of your top 3 starters is a feat that can only be described as miraculous. But their horses still get them past a few other teams to their new home of 17th, which is a better performance than their second to last finish in the last game.
The artistic stylings of the Grapplies. The Studs and Duds lineup makes them a joy to watch and cheer for just about every other inning. The 3rd ranking pen houses some of the most legendary arms ever to throw a Super Mega Baseball. Unfortunately for them, their rotation is abysmal. It's 18th in the game. they'll often have to outslug their opponents with their 14th overall offense in order to have a lead when their high-level relievers take them out. More likely, they'll be trying to play catch-up with their relievers holding the other team's mark steady. Whether or not their Peaks and Valleys offense will be able to reach that mark may come down to just a couple at-bats from their powerhouse performers. It's an exciting playstyle, but not a forgiving one. The Graps finish 16th of 20 for this version, down from 10th of 16 in the previous game.
The Graps have the studs and duds lineup. This next team carries that complex in their rotation. The Heaters' 9th ranked rotation has two of the best performers at the top and two of the worst at the bottom. These starters can be counted on to give you either a good chance to win or lose the game. The Pen manages to climb to 11th place essentially on the back of one man, Dur Neverwalker, with the other arms inspiring no confidence. They draw a comparison to the Crocs, who also focus on starters carrying. While the Crocs have an additional starter, the Heaters have Dur in the Pen, which helps to balance the stabs overall as extremely close in talent. The Heaters lineup provides chances to score throughout, but lacks those landmark players that serve as cornerstones of an elite offense. Recognizing this, they put their speed to good use in stealing bags or taking extra bases so as to scrape runs across without always needing a long drive as the catalyst. They are also capable defenders and will attempt to limit runs this way, especially on their more adventurous days with the 3rd and 4th starter pitching. First time out, the Roller Coaster Heaters find themselves in 15th. Everyone's favorite run prevention focused franchise appears next up in the ranks. The Herbivores match solid pitching with standout defense to do their best to keep the line to beat a low one. For this, they rely on a lineup that comes in 12th overall in full production, but sadly for them, it takes a hit when the DH is added, as their best option for the new lineup slot just loses out to the Sandcats for worst in the league. However, they can still manipulate it to gain a unique kind of advantage. Their strongest lineup makeup is best employed as their second catcher alignment, thus allowing Juan Rojas, among their top 5 offensive performers, to be more consistently penciled in. In home conference games, they'll go to battle with their 14th rated DH lineup, backing up their number 7 pitching staff, headlined by a consistently excellent rotation, which checks in as the league's 4th best. Offensively, their lineup has more promise at the top, with their best performers bringing some pop to the equation than does their back half, whose focus may often become turning over the lineup for a fresh set of chances in the inning that follows. It's a fun and unique playstyle that the Herb Gang employs, and not entirely ineffective, good enough to secure them 14th overall, and a place of honor as the first team slotted in C tier. That's going to wrap up part 1. If you're a fan of the topic, like the video and subscribe so as to not miss the next part. Once you've done that, it's your absolute obligation to defend the placing of your favorite team in the comments. See you in part 2.